All right, let's talk about Ollie Davis. Now, Ollie Davis is a road in my neighborhood. All right, so I don't live in a proper subdivision, but if you're driving down like the main road in my little cluster of houses, then you go over the railroad tracks from the 4-lane from Rutledge Pike. You go around a dog leg, over the railroad tracks, and then you start to go up a hill. Well, there's going to be one road on the left, Shangri-La. I have a house out there. I'll tell you about it later. Then there's going to be another road on the left that goes into like a real subdivision, a proper subdivision. But as you come over the railroad tracks, there's going to be a road on the right. That's Ollie Davis. And then the next road on the right is going to be San Juan, and that's where I live. All right, so just so you kind of understand a map of the area. So you go over the railroad tracks, up the hill. Ollie Davis is the first road on the right. San Juan is the second road on the right. I'm like four houses down on San Juan on the right. Well, if you turn on Ollie Davis and go 4 houses down on the left, there was a little house there. Ollie Davis, the house on Ollie Davis was my backyard. Literally, I lived in this house, and this other house backed up to mine, all right? I had a fence all in the backyard for Abby the Labby to go running around in, but on the other side of the fence was this old, nasty, wore-out looking house. And it had tenants in it, and I imagine they were about college-y aged because they played loud music sometimes, and I was college-y aged too, and so it didn't like bother me or anything, but there was always people coming and going and blah, 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 blah. And then it got quiet over there. And it was quiet, and it was quiet, and it was quiet. And then one day I was just out driving for dollars because as you turn right on Ollie Davis, but you're still on the main road there is called Alt. I bought a house on the corner of Ollie Davis and Alt. Okay, its address is actually Alt Road. But as you turn on Ollie Davis, there's a stone house on the corner. I bought that one. And then so I was just driving out Ollie Davis one day, and I was going slow, and I noticed there was a for sale by owner sign in the front yard of the house that backed up to my house. Ding, 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 winner. So I called the phone number on the FSBO sign on Ollie Davis, and it rang and rang and rang and rang and rang. And I left a voicemail, and nobody called me back. So the next day I drove by, maybe I got the wrong number, drove by, got the number, called it again, same number, didn't have the wrong one. It rang and rang and rang and rang and rang and rang and rang. Nobody answered. I left a voicemail. I waited till the next day. I said, I'm going to text this number, just see if it'll work. I texted and I said, hey, I saw your sign on the house on Ollie Davis. How much are you asking to sell it? Immediately I had a response back, $16,000. I was like, holy crap. All right. So texting works and you're only asking $16,000? I said, can I come look at it? Sure. I said, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Sure. All text, all via text. So I got there and there was a lady there and I told her that I lived behind her. I told her that I bought houses. I had the stone house down the street. I had another house on Shangri-La, but I liked buying houses in this neighborhood. She said, that's fine. This has been the house that she grew up in. Her mother had passed. She lived in another house now and she just wanted to get rid of it. She needed $16,000 to clear up some stuff and she wanted $16,000. I said, yikes, the house is in pretty bad shape. But I mean, the comps on it were like $75,000 or $80,000 and it was in bad shape. But come on, guys, $16,000 and it's worth $70,000 to $80,000. So I said, all right, well, you know, the way I buy houses, I usually make payments and it takes me a year or two to cash out. Would that be something you're interested in? And she said, nope. I said, okay, well, I was flipping the house, the stone house down the street on Alt. So all of my money was tied up in the stone house on Alt. I didn't have $16,000 to give this lady. So I said, okay, 16 grand is the least you're going to take. Let me see what I can do, and I'll call you back in a couple days. She said, okay, fine. Guys, I told my mom. My mom is a real estate investor. The house that I live in is not my house. It's my mom's house. I rent from my mom. Still to this day, this house that I'm in right now, this is Jason's house. This is not my house. I am homeless. Kind of. Okay. But the San Juan house, that's my mom's house. So I went and told mom, I said, look, I've talked to the lady on Ollie Davis. She'll take $16,000, but you got to cash her out. My mom was like, text her back, see if she'll take $15,000. So I did. I texted the lady back. I said, will you take $15,000? No answer. I texted her back the next day. Hey, I've got $15,000. Will you take that? No answer. For 3 weeks, I texted this lady asking if she would take $15,000. I don't know why I was so caught up over $1,000, but I was. Finally, she wouldn't answer. I'd say, hey, can we get back together? Hey, can we go look at the house? Hey, I want to show my mom the house. Hey. She just stopped answering me. I pissed her off because she told me very clearly she wanted 16, and I was trying, for whatever reason, to get her to let me have it for $15,000. And I was super stressed about it too, because I was like, dang it. What have I done wrong? She won't answer the phone, but she would text me. But now I've pissed her off and she won't text me anymore. What should I do? What can I do? How am I going to get a hold of this lady? Oh, I know. I'll text her from a different number. All right. And I was trucking at this time. So my mom's secretary has a 423 area code. My area code's 865. So I got her phone and I started texting this lady. And I negotiated again. The lady told me on text, she wouldn't answer my text, but she would answer Haley's text. So Haley told her that she was going to have some money and that she could buy it and she was going to move in and all this stuff. And then the lady said that she'd sell it for $16,000. Haley said, great. And then Haley told her, she said, this is all over text over a couple days. Haley said, actually, I'm not going to be able to get approved for a loan for this. I think my boss is just going to buy it for me. And we need to get the contract done so that we can close and I can buy it for $16,000 and I can buy it from my boss, who is my mom. The lady said, fine, I don't care as long as I get $16,000. And at this point, I'm not even bothering texting this lady anymore. I'm pretty much texting her through Haley, right? So I wrote up the contract. Mom signed it. Haley emailed it to the lady, and she signed it and sent it right back. We closed in like 2 weeks. So Mom bought Ollie Davis for me because I didn't have any cash for Haley. And Haley actually thought about moving to Knoxville and living behind me for a while until we actually bought the house and we closed on the house. We did all the negotiations. We did all of the setup, closing, all the payments, either through text or email on Ollie Davis. So that's the lesson there. If people won't answer your phone calls, text them, email them, Facebook message them. I don't care. Send them a MySpace message if that's how they'll answer. But get it done. So Haley let the lady know that her boss, my mom, was going to be buying the house. So we're very upfront, open and honest. And we closed the deal, $16,000. We paid closing costs. So the lady actually got $16,000. And we got the house on Ollie Davis. This is one of those houses where you just kind of got to play it by one day at a time. So we got the house, and my brother and I were really excited, and I was gonna flip it. I was gonna start renting it and flip it, and with my rent money, I was gonna pay my mom back the $16,000, and then we were gonna put it into our name once we paid off a note to our mom. Well, the floors were rotted, so we had to pull up the floors. And then the subfloors were disgusting, so we pulled those up. Pulled out all the kitchen cabinets, pulled out all the walls because there was mold in it. We got down to the studs and the floor trusses in this house and had to make a call on whether or not we were going to redo this house or just tear the sucker down. And as we were pulling the floor up, as we were pulling up the subfloor, and when I say we, I mean my brother and some of the truck drivers, the whole front of the house was balancing on like a brick. And it wasn't a brick house. It was just like a old wooden structure. And at some point, one of the corners had gotten a little weak. The dirt under it had settled a little bit. So they just put a brick under it and propped the house up on a brick. But you could see daylight almost all the way across the front of the house once the floors were gone. We're going to have to put a new foundation under this house, because if we fix the whole house inside, the house is just going to keep falling down, which is probably why the lady wanted $16,000 on a house that was worth 70 or 80. So we started pulling up more floors. We pulled up the bathroom floor, totally gutted the bathroom, down to the 2x4s. And not only did it have monstrous amounts of water damage under the bathroom, that's when we found the termites. If the water hadn't damaged the floor trusses under the bathroom, the termites had eaten it and taken it away. This house was coming down. There's no way to save this house. And we ended up just tearing the whole thing down. And as you can see, now when you look in my backyard, there's not a house behind it. We tore the house down, and we've got $16,000 invested in a chunk of land in a nice neighborhood where we can build a new house. I even got it approved through the city to put a small trailer or modular home or mobile home or like a tiny house on that lot. But it was going to take $50,000 to $75,000 to do that. And I'm just not at a place where I'm ready to put that much money into a house, even though I know it'll rent money. At this time, we have the land. My backyard is fine. And that's why we're okay with it. I would rather have that land behind my house than to let somebody else have paid $16,000 and put who knows who right there in my backyard. So yes, someday, eventually, I'll plop a house down or a tiny home or a modular home or a mobile home. And then I'll rent it. But right now, I'm just letting it grow grass. And I'm totally okay with that because it's my backyard. When I don't live there anymore and I'm ready to create more money, I'll plop a house down, I'll rent both houses out, and I won't care. But for right now, I'm totally happy with my mom's investment on that tract of land. That's the deal with Ollie Davis. That's the story on Ollie Davis. And that could technically be seen as a loss every year because we pay the taxes on it. But it's also one of those deals that in my heart I'm happy about because I don't have to worry about what somebody else is going to do in my backyard. And it was a small amount of money over the grand scheme to have invested in a chunk of land. Now I have other chunks of land that I only paid $1,500 or $1,200 for. This is a $16,000 investment that I'm glad my mom made and not me, because if I had made that $16,000 investment, I would be a little bit hotter to trot to find a way to make money back out of it. But eventually, it'll be mine. Eventually, I'll either buy it from her or I'll inherit it or whatever. This is one of the perks of having a mom who's also a real estate investor. Mom will help you out, but you got to get out there and get started, right? So that's the deal on Ollie Davis. I hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions or want to check out more about what I do, how I help women buy houses, go to firstdealdonefast.com. Bye, y'all.